Eric, are we waiting for people? Are we starting?
Yeah, we're on.
Okay.
So I would say what the overview is I'll give my overview.
Okay.
So data 8, some ways to think about it is it's 30 Jupyter notebooks, right? Or 25 Jupyter notebooks. There's a textbook, there's some slides, there's a lesson plan, but there's also like the main bulk of what the students do is something like 25 or 30 Jupyter notebooks. We can call them homeworks, labs, and projects. That's a thing that's made available. People around the world can take them, do what they want with them. Some people teach it straight through. Some people, you know, you've heard change out this or change out that or something else. So we're going to think about, we're the instructor and we're going to follow, there's sort of like an organizational, like, you know, tree directory structure, the way they've made them. You know, it's like spring 22 assignments, fall. So we're going to pay attention to learning that structure. And then we're going to think about, you know, managing them in GitHub. And there's a couple reasons we're using GitHub is the way that it makes it really easy to deploy it to all of the students in a clean, tidy way. That's sort of more unique than other, you know, cloud file services. So we're using GitHub as a cloud file server. We're going to organize them the right way. And we're going to do this thing with the magic links where the students are just going to get the link. And when the student clicks on the link, they're going to get an individual copy in their individual file server. And we're going to do a bunch of this work as the instructor. That seems a little fiddly, but the goal is really to make it so that the students don't have to do anything. They're just going to click on a link and it's magically going to appear in their browser tab and they're just going to go to work. So we're doing some of this behind the scenes work.
Is it kind of like GitHub Classroom where you send them a link and they join and then they have their own copy of the repo?
Yeah, it is a bit like GitHub Classroom. It's just like one step even more hand-holdy than GitHub Classroom. But yeah, the functionality of GitHub Classroom is a little bit what we're reproducing here for sure. I think teaching data 8 through GitHub Classroom is totally something we should also work on. That's a project that I thought I was going to get to, but I wasn't able to get to this week. There is a way that then you can run the notebooks in GitHub Classroom too, which is kind of cool. But that's for another day. What was I going to say?
I guess we do reproduce a lot of that functionality. You can get versions in a particular way. You have to be a little bit careful, but yeah, it's not exactly like that. But yeah, okay. I hadn't thought about it that way, but yes.
And then you know where they're doing compute is in this cloud-based server called Jupyterhub, right? So another reality is the students go and download the software for Jupyter and the notebook opens on their computer when they get it. But what we're going to do is make a server so that all the students are doing all their compute in the cloud, and the cloud is going to show up in a browser tab. So at Berkeley, the URL that the students see on that tab is datahub.berkeley.edu/username/assignments project 2 notebook 7 IPYNB. Right, so we're thinking a mental map of like, where is this? So it's on a server called DataHub. Sean's making a DataHub for Tuskegee. So the students in the class will be at
Tuskegee.cloudbank.2i2c.cloud, and that's on the slide 2 there.
And so a little bit of what we're doing today is we want you to be familiar with what Tuskegee.cloudbank.2i2c.cloud is, and you feel like you're the owner of that. And that's like a resource in the cloud that we're provisioning. We're going to pay that cloud. Sean's going to be the sysadmin, you know, the behind the scenes person, but it's for you to use as your teaching tool.
Okay. So one part, I might be getting ahead, but so let's say we have 10 students or 20 students this semester start. How do we manage basically taking those students in?
Okay, this is super awesome. This is a super awesome question. I'm really glad you went there. So the way this is set up is you never specify the class list. There's some reason that the way UV did it was he skipped that.
There's no course admin. So what you're normal,
there's no adding a list of 20 students.
So whatever are you guys using Canvas or
Blackboard right now?
Blackboard. So all your Blackboard, what you're used to doing, all sits there. And you're going to provide links inside of Blackboard into the hub. And the students will be logged in via Tuskegee accounts but you won't be managing the students on the hub.
Okay.
Let me say it another way.
Yeah.
Was this is like, not orthodoxy, but like, I think UV was like, this is 5 or 7 years ago,
Yeah.
was like, it's so fiddly to add and subtract the students. Somebody dropped the class and somebody added the class. And that's kind of a nightmare, especially when you're at 1,500 people, right? But even for 20, you're like, oh, I forgot to add you. Basically, all you need is this link. When you click the link, it gives you a copy, right? And so you're just, the student, upon clicking the link, is kind of like adding themselves automatically to the class.
Okay.
Right. So, as an administrator, we're like, we hope it's not abused. We hope that people that, don't belong in the class don't do it. So far, so good. At UC Berkeley, anyone at UC Berkeley could join this. So somebody not in Data 8 at UC Berkeley could technically go click the link, open it, see the homeworks. Where it's really gatekept is they can't submit the assignment, right? They could open the assignment and run it, but they're not in the class, so they couldn't really like submit the assignment to get credit for it. So students don't actually go and do homework that they don't need to do. So only the students in the class will have a possibility in Blackboard to submit the assignment, or if you use Gradescope, or one of those two. So that's a funny thing, is like, there's no class list. There's no like saying, oh, these 20 students need to have it. We're going to skip over that step, but it's important to think of like why we skipped over that step.
Yeah, I mean, that said, you will be able to get on the hub and see who's on it as the admins on the hub. So you would be able to see the user by their email address,
Who's done
who
their
they are,
homework,
who's
where
on
they
there.
are
If
at.
you wanted to go see a notebook of theirs, you could go see it.
And importantly, as a helper, you can go and open Notebook 2 and see where they are in Notebook 2.
Okay.
Anyways, I'll let Sean keep going.
Okay, well, so I'm not quite sure where to start then.
Well,
So
let's
back up. Okay,
this slide two.
okay, slide 2. We can start there. So if you guys were to click on that piece, so am I on that screen?
You are not.
I'm
I'm working on it.
Okay, no problem. So you should be asked to log in, and mine is not up there. When you're asked to log in, I'm going to walk around and just look at your screen and see. Yeah, so that's what every student would see, right? And then when you say log in to continue, we do have like a technical issue on this next part. And for now, I'll show you how we're going to get around it, and then we got to find. Did you get the CI login screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so right now, I set this up so that any. Oh, sorry.
Log to continue.
Okay,
yeah.
And so right now, if you go to that list where it says ORCID, you'll see about, I don't know how many, there's probably 500 universities listed.
Okay.
Tuskegee is not on that list. And I found out how to get on that list, so we can talk about it in a second. But in order to log in right now, just if you type in search Google, if you just type Google, you'll see a Google.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you show this on yours? Just
well, yeah, but
they
can see
it.
Okay.
12 people online.
Okay, I got you.
So just show the first CI login page. All right.
Okay.
So this is where somebody would get to first.
Right. Okay. So you go log in to continue, and you're going to get this identity provider. And for those online, they can see that mine says Google. And right now we're letting any Gmail address.
Yeah, so it's this.
Google.
Oh, just type Google.
And it'll pop up.
As one of the options.
As one of the identity providers.
Okay.
And
This
then,
may change over time. So this is authentication. This is like, oh, who are we going to ask for your credentials? So right now, this is the fiddly way we're doing it. Like
yes.
Maybe it'll change over time.
Well, the idea would be that it would be Tuskegee email addresses that would only be allowed in. But we can talk about that in a second. It's a bunch of detail-y.
And for other community colleges, they'll go and click their community college and then do it.
Yeah. So normally you would search for your college right there, or the students would, and they would look.
Just Google to my Google.
And your Google Gmail address, and it'll let you in.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And after you do this once, it's
then
mostly going to remember you, and you're mostly going to be able to just jump in.
That's exactly right. And if you put remember this selection, it will especially
Remember you.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, it worked.
All right, good.
You remember I still have the problems with my Google account.
Oh.
Yeah, so,
We still can't get into
you
it?
know,
And Tuskegee, do we know, you're not a Google for Education campus?
Oh, no.
No, okay, all right, yeah. That's the easy way out.
so.
Because he can't get into
No,
it.
yeah.
I don't get to my Gmail.
Oh, fine, okay, all right, so you guys, okay, I got you. So what you're looking at, I think, you want to turn? Yes, what you're looking at is the file manager of your login to the Jupyterhub. And every student can get to a place like this that will show their files once we show you how to get them in there. This is where all the compute happens. This is where you guys could look and see who was running notebooks, who had servers going, or go help somebody, these kind of pieces. We can look at that later. Okay, let's go back. So that is, you're seeing the user interface to the hub. Okay. So if we back up and go to
Do you have a Gmail type of Tuskegee?
Oh, he emailed me the password.
I know it was weird to me too that yours didn't work. Yeah, and his did. Yeah, who knows? I may have messed something up there. Yeah.
Basically, when you click, you get they will send an email to Tuskegee email and then you use it. But,
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. Is that how it worked out? Okay. Yeah.
that's how it will work.
Yeah. Okay. So now there's the three other pieces: the student notebooks, the private area where there are solutions to notebooks, and the course website. We all are kind of working together.
Okay.
So what I'm going to suggest is that we go to the course website and just click on the course website.
Okay.
And what you're seeing is a sample outline of the Berkeley rendition in spring 2020.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm going to
Except-
say,
Okay.
sorry, really quickly, if you look at the URL for this, this is in your personal GitHub.
Yes.
It says mendoigithub.io.
Yeah.
So this is your website of that.
Okay.
And it's okay for me to be on Monday.
It's public. It's a public website.
Yeah, but I mean-
yeah.
But you could envision, and then the other thing is like when you set up the class, like Data 8 sets up its own GitHub just for the class.
Mhm.
So probably you could be like Data 8 Tuskegee or DataSci Tuskegee
Mhm.
would be the name of the GitHub org.
Okay.
And so this is meant for you guys to use however you want to.
Okay.
And actually, Mando, if you accept the PR, there's a PR sitting there. You'd see there's the little mistakes at the top corner where it said Demo Hub and 2i2c Demo Hub on the far right. Those should be your name there. And so if you accept the PR and we refresh, it'll.
Except
Pull request is.
Oh.
that
Yeah, the pull request.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
yeah, just I know. Yeah, no, stop me. Yeah. Mando had accepted one before, so.
Hey, look at you with the fancy coffee.
Yeah, no problem. And so if you go to PR right there, pull request right there.
She's gonna be.
And you just click that and say merge or whatever. Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
Do you know?
Yeah.
Have you used this room before?
Not for electronic design.
Okay, I just can't get on this.
so it should be good now.
Okay. And it might take a second, but if we refresh it, it's just going to fix that website a little bit. So here's what's key about this website. One, you could just use it, modify it, whatever you want to do, and use it for your class if that was going to work. But if you're in Blackboard, I'm not quite sure how you guys use Blackboard, but most likely what you would do is kind of use this as a framework and grab the links. And this is what the most important part of this piece is if you look at the far right column, these are all of the notebook and homework
Here.
links that a student could click
Okay.
and open up their notebooks in the hub.
Do you know what the
Okay,
name
so I
of
clicked on lab one for example.
Right. And that should open up.
Yeah, it is.
And on that notebook just opened up, and it opened up under your account in the hub.
Exactly.
And so you would take that link there, copy it wherever you want to distribute the course materials to the students as is, and they could click that link and they would open up a notebook for them.
So this is the link that goes in Blackboard.
Exactly. Or yeah.
Oh, wait, here it is.
Okay.
And you would see all down the right, those are all the labs and homeworks.
So the one on the
This
Give more
last
copy, yeah.
column.
Far right, yeah. The second to last column
And now
is an HTML rendering of the notebook to just make it easy to look at really quick without having to go to the hub.
okay.
So if you guys are looking at, go, what the heck was in lab one?
Yeah.
Then
And you don't want to go to the hub and log in and all that. It's just an HTML rendering. It won't do anything. It won't, yeah, okay, you see, okay. And it doesn't look like we still haven't gotten that. So this, Mando, we'll figure it out. But
Oh, okay.
the top one, I don't want you guys to click that top, the where it says 2i2c demo hub. That is not the right hub, that very top link.
Is there a meeting?
It should change once we get that pull request in.
yeah,
Okay.
3380.
Okay, are we cool so far? Okay.
745.
There's a couple other things in here. If you look under resources,
Okay.
there is a Python reference that Data8 distributes that you could take a look at.
I got a phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, the PR, yeah,
Oh,
sorry, yeah. As soon as this PR, I'm not sure what's up with it, we'll go look at it.
Okay.
So those should be there. There's a Python reference, and then the materials show like a previous kind of study materials that they give the students at Berkeley.
Is that one called?
The supplemental videos doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, that one will go away as soon as we get this PR in. But the materials themselves, yeah. So you could decide whether or not you're going to give that to students. And then I think what's also useful about this site is that it ties the slides that they use for Data8 and the demos they use for Data8, along with the readings they use per lab.
HDMI, switch to TV.
All in one place.
So
I tried that.
So now you have a reference that of the guide to the course tied to the notebooks, what's taught before, what the students are supposed to read.
after week 6, we don't have, there's no slide in. Demo.
Oh, I did not see that.
What's that?
We lost the links. Okay, I will fix that. So after week 6, somehow I lost the links to the slides and demos. Okay, I will fix that. That is unclear to me what I did there. Okay, cool. Good catch. Let me just write that down real quick.
Go online.
Is there HDMI over there?
Okay. So there's like the reference.
Yeah.
I'll fix those slides. We'll get all those up there. And then if we back up, and I'm going to kind of go back go to slide 3 real quick and just make sure we're cool. So now you've seen the repository and you've seen the materials and you've clicked the link. I just want to make sure that you guys kind of grasp the whole,
Yeah.
you probably do at this point. With me, Yasmin. So do you guys see slide 3? So you're going to have.
Slide 3.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, take your time. Yeah.
No, I see it.
Okay.
Oh,
So-
okay, I see. Slide. Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're getting that we have this GitHub master repository of the materials. We have a Jupyterhub, which is just a computer sitting out there, server sitting out there. And then we're tying it together with these links that I gave you in that document. All right. There is no, people have asked me this before, and I'm not sure if this is like a source of confusion, but there is no pushback. So a student's work does not get pushed back into some repository,
Okay.
right? It's a pull. It's a pull. It's
One
sitting
way.
on here. It's one way. I'm sitting on my Jupyterhub server. I got my notebooks. It's all inside of my account. There's no pushback going on in any way.
You've set up the GitHub. You're the one with credentials. You're the only one that can put materials there. And whatever the students do will never affect the GitHub level.
And will only sit on that.
Only somebody with right access to that GitHub can do that.
Right, and not from the hub. Right, they would have to do it separately. Okay, so that's the basic infrastructure, what's going on. If you go to the next one, we can just talk about the links real quick and make sure there's a couple of things to understand about the links. And the links are fairly complicated, and you can see at the bottom, if you look at slide 4, what they look like.
Yeah.
But I've given you all the links, right, on that far right column. But if you were to create new notebooks, or even decide that you wanted to move the notebooks, like you don't want to use the repo that we created, you want to create a different one or something like this, you can ask me to recreate those links on the side, and I can do it pretty quickly. Or you can make them yourself.
So we can't.
Yeah, you can make them yourself. So there's 2 ways that you can go about making them. If you go in that middle there where it says this can be done here,
Yeah.
there's a website that I hope you guys have access to. I think you do. It's called NB Git Puller Link Generator.
Yeah.
And you fill out these pieces and it creates the link for you. Okay, and this is only if you need it, right? This is only if you create new notebooks or you decide to move where the notebooks, the master copy of all the notebooks will be stored.
Okay.
So if I want to do an R version of this, I would create new notebooks for it.
Oh, and check this out on the bottom. It says open in R Studio if you want.
Yeah. You can set R-based notebooks, right, to open in the correct. Yes. So that's, yeah. So if you wanted to create an R version of this, you would create your repo, transfer your notebooks, make them R-based, and then you would generate the links there. And if you get into doing that, I can simplify the process for you. So you might want to get a hold of me if you get in a place. Yeah. Because here you're going to be making them one by one. So if it's 4 notebooks, it's cool. You could probably figure it out, but it's just, you just get used to the format and then just automate it.
So I was just saying, in that case, maybe it makes sense to have one for her so that you can change it out or just leave it.
Yeah, that's fine. I can take, when you fork that repository, I could set you up as well. Yeah.
Okay, I did fork it, but
Yeah,
whenever you.
I didn't get to it. Yeah. I'll set you up. Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
I can put it on there.
Oh, I don't mind. Yeah.
And so then the other way to do it is
You gotta show them the Chrome.
yeah, UV Panda. I'm showing you in this link right here. The second way to make a link is that if you go into your forks repository, if you just look at slide 4 real quick, and then we can look at it, and you install this Chrome or Firefox extension, you can start generating them straight from the repo itself. Oh, sorry, still same slide 4, I think, yeah. And if you go, I'm having trouble with my screen. If you go back over to that link puller, you see at the very top that. So, I mean, I'm just telling you guys this when you get there, and then you have to remember. But there's 2 ways then that you can generate links. It's probably a little bit easier to use the browser extension. But in the end, if you look at the very bottom of slide 4, that's what you get as the link that the students or anybody who's going to open a notebook in your hub is going to get.
Yeah,
That user-redirect is a key moment where it's that facilitates the login of any user, an abstraction across the user. And then the rest is just paths into where you're going to find the labs and notebooks and repos that you want. I mean, it doesn't look as it's not as complex as it looks, in other words. So the hub will always be there, and you guys really don't have to do anything on the hub. It's the links and the tie to the notebooks where that become all the work and the manual labor of it.
So can we try to demo, like, could you throw me a link? I'll join as a user, and you could demo to them what it's like to be the admin and go into my work. So I'll just, they're set up as admins, right?
They're set up as admins, and so if we'll just give you a link to lab 1.
Yeah. Why don't you give the link to this whole thing into the chat?
Okay.
The whole page into the chat.
Okay.
Is there not a way for us to see
What's that?
what's going on up there?
We are trying to figure it out.
No, it's
It's driving me crazy. I really think it's supposed to be this cable.
where am I here? So am I in the right chat? Yeah. So I'm going to put it in the chat.
With HTML.
And you guys are going to see.
Yeah.
And we're just going to open up lab one. I just want to make sure it's right.
Okay. So for people that are watching, or for wait, what is that link?
So what were you asking for? Could I give you
just
the
send me
link
the
to
link
lab?
for Mandoya github.io. So
This is the NWDSE2022 link to lab one.
That's fine, but also just send me the link for the page that you're showing right now.
Oh, okay, cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So one way to think about this is you're now running the class and you're like, hey class, come to my data 8 class. Oh wait, you know what? You're only sharing to hosts and panelists. Could you go to everyone?
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. Boom. There's that.
Okay, so anybody who's watching, so I'm now opening that web page, right? And that's my data 8 web page. And then as a student, I'm gonna go to, what's it called? Lab 1. Wait, this is Demo Hub.
Wait, what? Wait.
The column's called Demo Hub. It's supposed to be called Tuskegee Hub.
Yeah, we're working on the PR to get that in. But yeah, so.
Okay, so what do you want me to click on? Lab 1? Or
yeah, click on lab 1.
Okay. Okay. Somebody in the chat, could you answer the person in the chat?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Click Google at CI login and use any Gmail address.
Yeah, select Google.
So I'm now
drop down.
Clicking it, log in to continue. Google, log on.
I just clicked on.
Yeah, it should be able to.
Okay, so now it's starting up for me.
Oh, no, yeah.
She gets bad requests.
Bad request.
Nilu, we may not be able to troubleshoot you in real time during the demo because we're in the room. But anyways, so what I'm saying is I'm as a student, I'm going into the Tuskegee Hub, it's opening lab 1.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that I want to show you really quick is if I delete all this stuff, I don't know how to say this. I always want a button for this.
Where are you at?
I'm in here and there's this long thing, but I want to go and I'm going to do it all the way back to my username. And then I'll see a tree. I'll see a directory of what I have. So there's another view in Data Hub. Can you follow along, Sean?
Yeah, I'm going to try to follow along here.
Right.
Yeah, so here's what he's doing, you guys.
So I see 3 folders.
I deleted everything up until my email.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it just took me to the tree. So I deleted all.
Okay.
So I see 3 folders. Jasmine, you see 3 folders?
I see 2. Shared and
Shared. And
materials, spring 20.
so if I go in Material Spring 20,
and
then I go into Lab, I'm going to point out that when I click the NV Git puller link, it pulled everything in. It didn't just pull in Lab 1.
Okay, yeah.
It just goes to that repo and pulls everything in the repo in.
Okay.
So this is part of the mental model. In the Data 8 class, as the semester goes on, they fill up the repo. So that this wouldn't be full yet if we were on week 1. We would only see lab 1 in week 1, and then we would see lab 2. And they're adding things over the course of time.
We're like releasing it by the way.
But part of the mental model about NVGit puller is when you do it, it pulls everything in the repository. It can send you just to lab 1, so the student just sees lab 1. But at the time, it's like doing a full pull of everything.
And if they go to the tree, they can actually access anything.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. And I will go back to the thing. I would be like, students don't do next week's homework.
Right.
This is a little fiddly. If you ever change anything, it can mess things up. So you don't really want to deploy a bunch of stuff. You want to go, you don't want to go later and change week 7 and then they have to re-pull it. Like that's a little bit of a bad practice. So the best practice is to put things in as, but we can talk about that later.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm going to go in lab 1. I'm going to open lab 1.
So people online, we looked at the tree and now we're back in lab.
And I'll go back to my URL. So I'm not at Berkeley. I'm not at Binder. I'm at Tuskegee Cloudbank 2i2c.cloud /user/ and then it says my username and yours says your username. This is going to sound dumb, but one thing I want to remind you is you can't send this link. You know how a lot of times you want to share a link and you just go in the URL and you like copy paste and send it to somebody? If you do that, yours will say, you know, Mandoy at Tuskegee or something up there. And so if you send that link, the students will be like, oh, that doesn't work, because they will be trying to see your server. Basically, it needs to say the name of the person who's logged in the URL.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
No.
But no. So you know where if like I go to, you know, I find something on the internet, and sometimes I just go up here and paste this URL and send it to you and be like, hey mom, look at this Airbnb. And she'll get to that same Airbnb, right? Or something. If I do that here, because the other user isn't logged in as that same username, the link will kind of break when they try to open it.
That makes sense.
But so I'm just giving you, like, by looking at the URL, it's giving me a map of where I am, you know, on the internet in the server space.
Okay.
So I'm going to the Tuskegee server, I'm logged in as Eric. And then after that, it says I'm going to go in notebooks, material spring 20 external, lab 1, lab 01. So there's this long tree that data 8 follows, that the way they
The folder structure, yeah.
folder structure is a little bit a lot, but generally you could just follow them.
Okay.
So what that means is that if a student wants help, this is where you, on your account, you would hit control panel in the top right corner. And you could see Eric
As a user.
and myself as a user.
Can you see the other users?
Go to,
Not yet.
oh, wait a second. You know what?
What?
I'm wrong about that.
This is what I'm.
Yeah. I gotta set, because when under your Tuskegee account, you would be able to see it.
How about Mando's?
Yeah, it's same thing. Under your Tuskegee account, but we couldn't log in with the Tuskegee account, so we
You
couldn't.
can promote them right now in the.
Yes, okay.
I think you can promote them in the control panel.
Yeah, okay, cool. 1 second. I gotta relog in. Yeah, so I don't know when we want to talk about this part of it, but we're gonna have to do some work to get Tuskegee emails to work out.
Oh, Lisa.
And I think I have a slide about what needs to happen. I talked to the people at the login provider about that piece, and I don't think it's a big deal.
So far, the Gmail will work.
Gmail will work. Yeah, we don't necessarily want to make it so that anybody with a Gmail account can get on your hub, you know, but so right now, anybody could get on this thing. Right.
Okay. I think you send me an email about what we need to do.
I may have, yeah. Yeah, yesterday I was discovering this and kind of like, oh, I hadn't seen this happen before, yeah. Okay, there we go. So,
Okay, stop.
yeah,
So, oh, you're not in the room, so you can't see Sean's screen. I really wish we had the screen working.
so I'm about to promote you guys, so then like, yeah, it's me.
So,
You'll be able to see it.
so watch the recording later too, because he's in the control panel showing you what's
I
up.
can show you what I did
And
once
wait,
I get
like,
you in.
look, Sean, so who's logged in right now?
Yeah.
Somebody online is logged in. If you go to the bottom.
Yeah.
So F. Lanoy is somebody who's watching this online, and they just figured out how to get in.
And spammy nanny, yeah.
Spammy nanny.
And so Yasmin, I think that if you were to, I don't know if it shows up right away. if you
Oh, that's
refresh
Naomi.
it.
Okay, so go to control panel.
And now if you see admin at the top, as it not yet, so you might have to refresh, or you might have to log out and log back in. But you should be in
Do I
admin.
click on my server?
You shouldn't have to click on my server. Yeah, and now click admin right there. The third one. So now you're seeing, and I had clicked edit user. If you look at the like far right column, and made you an admin.
Okay.
But your account should automatically, your Tuskegee account will automatically be admin. Okay. So this is where you would see, like, Eric should be here somewhere. logged in.
Am I not logged in?
I think you are. Yeah, right at the top, Eric VD at Berkeley.
Yeah.
And if you click access server,
You would actually go into my notebook.
yeah, you would actually be on his computer, is what you would be on, his compute.
Yeah.
Not computer.
I tried to click on it and this one.
Yeah, and hit authorize.
Hit authorize.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so now you got to be a little bit careful as the admin when you're doing this. It gets a little bit confusing because you're now looking at a notebook that you can change.
Okay.
You know, so I mean, that's good. That's what you want. You just
I
got to
can
be.
reset their notebooks from here.
You could fix something going on. Yeah, you could start typing in their notebook.
So
And that gets a little bit dicey.
I wouldn't do it
especially
at a time.
if they're
but-
typing at the same time, it would get dicey. If they're, yeah.
And it's not meant for real-time collaboration,
Yeah.
but it's often used for like something's broken or the student says something doesn't happen and
Then
You need
have
to-
go and look at this.
You can't
You
figure
need
out
to-
from their description what's going on or stuff like that.
yeah.
Is there a way to completely reset a notebook for one student?
Reset meaning I just want to clear out what you did.
Clear out everything they did
Yeah.
and reset it back to its
On the
original state.
Yeah, set it back to the original state. The way I would do it is delete the notebook and repull. But is there a better way
Yeah,
to do
so
it?
that's the way, that's the mental model of the
Yeah.
way to think about it.
Mhm.
What I actually also say is you
Yeah.
just rename the notebook.
Okay, rename the
So
notebook.
go back to
Yeah.
tree.
Uh-huh.
So if you were to go back to tree and change the name of the notebook, then when you do the git pull, it's looking to have a copy of lab 1 in that folder.
Oh, and it doesn't.
And if
find-
lab 1 is now called lab 1, my old broken version, then it will pull a fresh copy of lab 1.
That's a safe way to do it. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah.
There's possibly some other ways, right? From the save and checkpoint, but I have to experiment with that a little bit. Yeah.
All right, so people online are not getting through the CI login.
I
Two
get the same
people
thing,
have, and
internal
six-
server and
six
server.
people are not
Failed to get
getting through.
username from CI login. Huh. Are they on the 2i2c hub?
I know,
That would be a problem.
they're on the 2i2c hub
Yeah,
using Gmails.
that wouldn't work. Yeah. If they're on the demo 2i2c hub, that
Yeah.
one in the top column,
Yeah.
that wouldn't work. And we just need to fix that sheet.
So they should be on the
They should click-
workshop
they
data.
should click
What if
on
they
that.
use the Berkeley workshop data?
Is that one open? What do we
Yeah.
do with that one? I haven't- If that one's working, they could definitely do that. Yeah, but they won't see. The BMB Git puller links aren't going to go there. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so how are we doing, folks? Yeah.
I went on mine. I'm gonna try to rename.
Okay. So Mando, it would be cool if we could figure out that pull request, what
Okay,
happened
let
there.
me go back. Yeah,
I just have to look and see maybe, and then then we won't confuse people by. So the next place I would go, once you guys are ready, is to how you're going to handle student submission and grading. But we don't have to go there yet. We can, if you guys have something else you want to go.
So how do I re-pull once I rename?
So then you would go back and click the link again.
Okay.
So you're broadcasting everything you're doing, Sean.
Yeah. And what right now I'm showing is that we're trying to get Mandoy. We're just trying to get that pull request in so we fix the website.
I'm checking the time. It's 45. You guys can stay on. I need to probably log out of this broadcast, but you guys can keep chatting.
Uh-huh. So those are mine. We'll follow up on why we were getting internal server errors and
Oh, people are just having a hard time with authentication at their organization. So if they use a regular Gmail, they're getting in better.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. It's using my glendale.edu. School account.
So when this is set up for Glendale will work.
Yeah. Yeah, so Glendale, this hub won't take in a Glendale address, Simon, but yours, Simon, your hub will. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
Okay. Did you go Simon's submission? Did we go through this?
No, that's where I was gonna head once you guys are ready.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, we can go to that. Now I was trying to. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So assignment submission can take on a couple different forms. But the basic idea is they're going to export a PDF. They're going to export a zip archive that potentially contains PDFs, as well as the notebook. And that is going to be submitted either, it sounds like you guys have Gradescope, is that true? No. Okay. So then we're going to submit it into your submission process. So wherever you got, like Blackboard or however you normally have students submit things, they're going to hand you a zipped compressed set of files that are going to have the notebook in it. And then we're going to find a way to grade it. Okay. So at the bottom of every notebook, you see this submission cell. So if you guys have Lab 1 open, maybe, do I have Lab 1 open? Here, 1 second. Let me just show people online. And you will see at the bottom of every notebook, there is a cell for exporting. Right. And one, you guys may have been through this before, but it says it up above you there is make sure you save and checkpoint the file before you do this. So you can get, this is how you can get different moments of when they were working on it, not just under the file menu. So when you save and checkpoint, and then now it's saved on that hub under the username. And then when you click that last cell, it'll export, download a set of files. Yeah. So in order for the export to work, the import of otter at the very first cell has to happen. I just made the same mistake. But normally they'd be working through run their cells, right? And then it would go. And then you'll see something that says, oh, it's been exported, click to download it. And it'll show up on your machine. Working out over there? Okay, cool.
I'm gonna walk around.
Yeah.
I didn't run everything. I just ran it.
What's that?
You have to run the whole.
No, just go to the very top.
It's because the Zoom event,
Yeah.
it's like locking it somehow. But I added the.
1 second, yeah, go there, click that first cell.
Did you join this?
All good, yeah.
So wait, I can join that.
And then go down.
It's basically gonna end in 5 minutes.
And then click on that.
Well, yeah, but that's a different meeting.
Maybe I had.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, this is the one I renamed. It's called-
Oh, interesting. I've never seen that before. Okay.
So let me send it back to you.
Or just go get Lab 2 or something from the website.
Wait, so can I? If I'm in here,
Oh, there you
can I
go.
join meeting?
I'm just renaming it. Or
Oh.
Sweet.
So
Is there a way to join
Yeah.
the Zooms?
And then you'll get it.
And they have to manually upload this.
Yeah,
Or
into whatever your submission.
Okay, so
Yeah,
they.
but I
they
can't-
upload it
there's
into
no
way to,
zip
like,
file. Okay, well, that's
find-
not true.
And so if you look at the zipped
Or,
archive
in the
on that
meeting,
one,
trying to
it's
do my
just a zipped archive
road.
of the notebook.
What I
This is what.
in the room, I'd like to be able to
Yeah.
throw this over
The
there,
notebook.
regardless of.
And no PDF, because it's a PDF file.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So to change that, they could change that and they would get PDF. And there's other pieces related to grading. Like sometimes you would have an automatic grading that are, and then you'd have some that are manual.
Okay.
So, yeah,
But none of these notebooks are set up like that.
okay.
But that's just a possibility if you were like wanting to do that. But none of the Data 8 notebooks are set up on the labs are set up that way. I'm not sure about the homeworks.
We will gently ask our collaborators about getting Gradescope for Tuskegee.
Okay. Because that changes the whole dynamic
Okay.
of the next
That
step.
was to you.
Yeah.
That was me passive aggressively.
Because I was about to say something to this effect. Like,
We
it'd
think
be really
it'd be
great to have
wonderful.
Gradescope.
We would think it'd be wonderful if Tuskegee had Gradescope,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we can help to figure that out.
Because here's the thing, like if you don't have Gradescope, it's fine. Well, we could go through a session on how you could go about grading. There's three options. There's, if you have 10 students and you want to look at each notebook yourself,
That's what
you manually go through and you grade it. Okay, fine. And there's definitely people out there doing that. The next step is to download all those submissions onto your local computer, set up AutoGrader, which is which you saw the other day that Chris talked about, Chris Piles.
Yeah.
Set that up on your local machine and you could automate the grading.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's configuration, it's a setup, it's not really that difficult, but you just got to go through and figure out how to do it. It's not that difficult to grade already set up notebooks. It is fairly complex to get all the grading set up itself. Get the right tests for the, and all that, if you're going to write your own notebooks. Not from the technical point of view, just from like the teaching point of view, it gets hard, right? Or you go to Gradescope. In Gradescope, they have a relation, Berkeley has a relationship with Gradescope in which students can upload that notebook into a Gradescope assignment. You guys haven't seen Gradescope? Yeah, so if you go to gradescope.com, I might even have this slide there.
Yeah.
And it will grade it for them in the end and put it into the,
I think the.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
yeah, it's very nice,
The
yeah,
last- the
yeah,
last slide.
yeah.
Is that the last slide?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just figured it out? Okay, okay. Last time we got it out, it was perfect.
So try and
Yeah.
tell us like what's confusing. What's like part that you're not getting? Right. This is all in an hour. We're dumping like
Yeah.
a torrential rainstorm of things on your head. Help me and Sean by tell us like what's confusing.
I think,
At the high level, it seems to make
Yeah.
sense.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so, yeah, so we also have the recording of what we,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, so the process is log into the web page, right? And then from the web page, we have basically the links
You just
to the
airplane.
individual assignment.
Yeah.
So we share those links with the students.
Uh-huh.
And once the student click on the link, then they would have the whole, they have it.
Yeah.
And then they work on the assignment. And once they're done with the assignment, they will basically save it. And at least as of now, with the structure, Tuskegee, they will download it, send it to us, and then we will grade it.
Yeah.
So far, so good. If we wanted to, I don't think if we wanted to change something, but I don't think in the short term we plan to change anything.
Yeah.
Not after the rename did that.
Yeah.
So we're not
We're up to
planning-
download, right?
At least other.
I want to see why that
We're
happened.
not trying to change anything. I mean,
Yeah,
For now, we need.
yeah, once you get into creating notebooks and,
Yeah, so
and
that's
making
the-
changes to tests maybe, or something like this,
so
this is a whole
yeah.
nother set of work, yeah,
So
yeah.
we're not worried about that.
Yeah.
For now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to go to this.
No, I'm with you, I was about to do that, so it feels to me like, yeah.
Yeah, so,
So there's this forking moment, or this moment, like crossroads moment, where either we're gonna upload, students will upload assignments into your normal system, or if we get Gradescope set up, they will upload the Gradescope. And in which case, we would have to go figure out Gradescope, which isn't that big of a deal. But you guys would have to go look at Gradescope. You would have to get students in the Gradescope, and that's a whole process.
okay.
Now, if students do some work, go through half a semester, then click on that link again. Is it gonna,
It will have their work there.
it will,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Yeah, the process by which it rectifies, oh, I'm pointing in, I already have it, oh, there's a change,
Mhm.
is a process, which is why he said that it's not a great practice to make, once you've distributed lab 7, to then go, oh, you know what, I wanted to fix this, you guys re-pull it.
Okay,
It can work, and it should work, but it can also get messed up.
okay.
It's meant to work,
Okay.
but it can get messed up, because there's this whole get set of moments that go on that user's server. And if they've made massive changes to the notebook, then there's these conflicts that Git can't resolve,
Mhm.
but it's all happening behind the scenes, and nobody, unless I go get on that user server, we can't resolve the conflicts. That's what's, I don't know if I just confused the heck out of you guys.
Then from the viewpoint of the student,
Yeah.
really, once they have access to the web page, all they have to do is click the link to the lab.
Yeah,
Okay.
And what we're
Yeah.
trying to finesse is if we make the links right, the student just clicks the link each week and they're like, oh, now I'm in lab 1, now I'm in lab
Right.
2. And they'll log on and log off. If they come back later, they'll be able to find it.
Well, when you say log on and log off.
Well, like they do half of their homework and then they leave and it will log them out. Like if you come back to do your homework the next day.
So day 1, you click on the link and you like work on the student.
Yeah,
work on half of
but
it.
then on Friday, I have to finish my homework before I need to turn it in.
So then they click on the same link and they would go to whichever place it was.
Yeah, but we could also teach them about going to the hub, the Tuskegee hub, and then finding Data 8 Spring 22 labs. They could find it through the tree as well.
Okay.
Right. Mostly they're doing it through the link, but they could also learn to go find, it's a little file server that they have that they could find on the file server and activate the notebook they want.
Yeah, but if they click and go to the same place they were,
Yeah,
then there's no need to worry about
that's true.
right.
That's
So there's
right.
there's an abstraction, right? Like they could just be interacting with notebooks and never see the server.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Right.
I think that's
Mhm.
But when they click that very first link, it populates their server with all of the labs.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't have to be that way, but then that requires some management on your part.
So they already have a lab 2. So then if I make changes to lab 2, but they already have it.
That's a problem.
Well,
Yeah, that's why-
it shouldn't be a problem, especially if they didn't touch lab 2.
They didn't touch it.
It definitely won't be a
When
problem.
they click on the link
Yeah,
for
sure.
lab 2, even
Yeah.
though they already have it, they'll be accessing the new version.
So this is, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to share
Yeah.
my development experience. So we
Yeah.
have 2 different repositories on GitHub.
Okay.
One of which is the public, the student one that the
Mhm.
students will download from, and then the other one is like the ongoing maintenance of all the stuff that I want to do via Jupyterhub, and then I just copy over the labs. So yeah, so a lot of times I just have it's copied
What is the thing about the pull request?
Were you able to merge it? I can just look real quick.
Yeah, because
It's not real common. Oh, so it looks fine, right? Yeah, yeah. Okay, so.
Hey, Lubo. Good. I'm glad you got it.
I'm glad too. So let me just know if everything works and if you can actually see my screen already.
Everything is working.
Yeah. Oh, this is data 8.
I can see
You gotta
it
go
on
to your. You gotta go to your result, yeah.
Just wait a couple more minutes. And
So
then,
trying to figure out why I've seen it completely wrong with it.
The one before is still open, so I'm gonna tell people to leave that one.
So you're showing data 8 there. You want to go to yours? Go here and go to your repositories. There you go. All right.
Do you know Naomi Alterman? They said hi in the chat. You know, we work with them for this. Ostensibly, yeah.
Oh, I see what happened. Oh, okay. Go cancel. Yeah. Click on this one. Go where you are. Updated index and HTML. And now scroll down.